Hello everybody, my name is Meta_Meister, and this is Dungeon of the Endless. Now I know I've already done a series in this game already, but in the first one I asked the viewers to shoot me some emails on things I can do to improve my video quality. And I'm happy to say that I actually got quite a few responses. Bob asked me to kind of clean out or steam out the wrinkles in my backdrop cloth. Happy to say it looks a lot better, thanks for the advice. Tony, Jane, Bob again, and Ben all said kind of the same thing uniformly. My audio is a lot louder than my microphone, and I'm happy to say that I dropped the game volume a tad, and I upped the microphone volume a tad, and I'm hoping that it sounds a lot better to me, and I'm hoping it's a lot better for you guys. So if it's not fixed, please let me know, and I'll continue to work on that for you. Ben also pointed out to me that there was an audio sync delay, and I gave a 300 millisecond delay on my video to audio, and I think it looks a lot smoother now. It doesn't look like I'm not talking when I clearly am, so it's none of that kind of cheesy, fake, like Kung Fu Chinese movies you see where it's like, hello. Anyways, that being said, I've also been informed that I didn't really explain the game a whole lot, so I'm hoping that in this series, I'm going to do two things. A, beat the game. B, explain the game a lot more, and yes, I want to reload. Now, the lore behind this game is pretty straightforward. Who you are yet is not determined, but you're on this spaceship, and it's a prisoner transport spaceship that's being shot down, and you're about to escape because it's about to die right now. And that's you right there, escaping out of this escape pod. Boom. All right, now, you're picking your character on the screen. I've already explained this part, but things that I haven't explained are there's two categories you can be in besides the TF2 characters that were recently added. You can be a prisoner, or you can be a guard on this ship. Now, these characters actually all have different interactions between each other. For example, Appbot and Ken Misaki, they know each other. Now, after a couple floors of being on the same team together, they'll have a few unique dialogues in the elevators. And then they'll unlock, after 3 floors, a special ability that makes them better at working together. Beyond that, I'm going to cover things as we go, and I'm also going to go over things that I've already talked about just so nothing's lost. First off and foremost, there is 4 major character stat points when picking your characters. There's the green bar is hit points. That's how many how many hits you basically take before you die. The blue bar is speed, how fast your character is. The red bar is power, how much damage your character does. And the purple bar is wit. Now, what wit does is some characters get the ability called operate, or operator. What that means is they can actually work on major nodes, which I'll go into very shortly, and make them stronger. They produce more resources. The higher their wit is, the more of a bonus you're going to get from them operating. Beyond that, it's important to know that your speed will greatly decrease when grabbing the crystal to head to the next floor. Again, not something I've covered yet, but I'm going to cover that in a second, so just bear with me. And that's you crash landing into the planet on the escape pod. Now, basically, the idea of this game is it's kind of a mesh between a tower defense and kind of an RPG with roguelike elements. So basically, the idea of it being a tower defense is there are going to be waves of monsters coming your way. The RPG element is the fact that you're playing a characters that progress. Pretty straightforward stuff. Now, your objective is this. You're trying to get this orange crystal to the exit of the entire dungeon. How to do that is you take the crystal from the starting point to the elevator that goes to the next floor. Now, your journey there, you're going to go through rooms, such as this one right here, which is going to start off unpowered. Now, as you can see, there's a little flying bug monster in this room that's going to start attacking you. There are of course, a bunch of different kinds of monsters, as with most games. Now, before I progress any further, it's important to note that on the top left, you're going to see 4 primary stats. You're going to see 4 primary resources. The gold is dust. The green corn is food, the blue atom is science, and the red cogs are industry. Now, what industry does is it allows you to build buildings such as the one I'm about to build, which is an industry generator. The idea behind the industry generator is it's going to produce 3 more industry per turn for me so I can build more buildings. Blue, science, is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to use that to research new buildings as you progress through the game. Corn, or food, is used for 2 separate things. One, it's used to heal your heroes in the middle of combat, and the second is it's used to level up your heroes as you progress through the game. Now, dust is used for pretty much one thing. It actually is used for 2. as isn't really all the resources. That's one more thing I haven't explained yet. Dust is used to power rooms, and it takes 10 dust to power up a room. Now, what powering up a room does is it does two things. The first thing is it allows you to build stuff in there that lets you use it. And the second thing is a room that's powered will never spawn monsters. A room that's dark will always have a chance of spawning monsters whenever you open a new door. So as you can see, I'm now at 27 dust, and I've used 10 to power these two rooms. I can no longer power this room. Now, there's a way to stop monsters from spawning in unpowered rooms. It's simple. You just leave your hero behind, one hero behind. So because Skiaga's behind, he's going to make sure this room does not spawn monsters. Now, it's actually perfect timing for this event to pop up. This is a shopkeeper. Now, this is what comes into play where the third way to use resources comes in, and it's with shopkeepers. He's going to randomly have a resource that it's going to take for him to buy stuff or sell stuff to. And as you can see, he's got items. And I'm actually going to buy this one called Rice Wind. It is a machine gun because Ken Masaki uses machine guns. And it's very important in this game to always be up to date with your weapons, with your characters, because it's kind of like one of the big power-ups for your heroes that you can get. I usually try and go for a little bit more economy first, getting a little more generation of income. But I really like getting weapons, so I'm going to go ahead and buy him a gun. And as you can see, he fairly handily cleared out that floor. And I know it's you know, floor 1 still, but still, it still made him much, much stronger. Now, this is what the exit's going to look like when you find it. So I have a choice. I can take the crystal now, and I can head for the exit. There's 2 unpowered rooms. It'll be very easy to fight through, especially considering it's floor 1. The monsters are pretty easy. Or I can continue pushing onward. Now, I recommend in the lower floors to definitely push onward. Try at least in the first floor to clear every room. Now, it's very important you do that specifically because you gain more resources that will carry over to the next floor. So, I'm sorry. Watching my guy, make sure I don't have to heal, and I don't. Okay, we're good. And power up that room, move Skiaga. It's because, you know, my industry, my science, my food, while the plus numbers will reset every floor, the full total number, so my 38, if I were to leave this floor right now with 38 industry, that would carry over. So the more doors I open now, the more free resources I get. Considering this floor is really easy to go through, there is literally no downside to me, like, pushing. Because you just get more resources. Also, it's important to note that major nodes will go up by 5 industry every time you've built one. So at a certain point, you won't be really getting a return on your resources. So usually about halfway through a floor, around this point, I kind of decide I'm not building any more major nodes because 25 industry for an industry generator. I only get 3 industry per door. It would take roughly... It would take almost 9 turns to start getting, just to get over that marker, and I definitely don't think there's 9 doors left on this floor. It's also important to know that when you're researching something in this game, when you find a building to research stuff, and I will point it out when I see one, it takes 3 turns to research something. And you're taking some damage. It takes 3 turns to research something. If all the doors on a floor have been opened, you cannot research something. However, if there is less than 3 doors left and you start a research, let's say there's a door left and you research it, when you make your exit with the crystal to the elevator, it will finish the research for you, which is really handy. It's also important to know that whenever you open a door, there's a chance of spawning monsters, as I've said. When you grab the crystal and make your exodus to the exit, it's going to constantly spawn monsters in those empty rooms. And so it's a lot of waves. So there's things in this game that I haven't put down yet because they're pretty easy, like a prisoner prod, which are basically turrets. Nice little things that will basically shoot and soften up monsters. In the next floor, I'm going to go a lot over more the different kinds of monsters that are in this game, because there is a fair... of course, you know, you get the research station after you're done with the floor. That's fair. Anyways, next floor, I promise, I'm going to go over a bit more of the monsters. There's some rare monsters and some more common monsters to stand to look out for. So I'm going to be going over those on the next floor. as you can see, making the trip was pretty easy. I just skipped it because it's really not that much of a challenge. There's really not much to see, just kind of sucks up time. These monsters, are they skulking or slinking? Oh, Skag, that was I'm not sure. I don't have an answer for you, buddy. I'm sure you kind of are hungry and you want to eat them, though. Skag likes to make food with people. So, as I was saying, I was going to go over monsters. Now, this little floating crystal guy here, he actually will come around in floor number 1. I didn't see any or I'd pointed him out. These guys are pretty weak, easy monsters. What they're going to do is move fairly slowly, but they will skip your heroes, go straight for your crystal, and start damaging it. Now, your crystals does have hit points, and it's equal to your dust number. So every time it gets hit, depending on the creature's strength, it'll drop the dust count, which, if it gets to 0, you lose. But as it does damage, you also lose the ability to power up rooms. So it can make... Creatures getting there is bad. It's just bad. It makes more rooms unpowered, which means the more you go through that floor, the more monsters you fight. So just make sure they don't get there. But as you can see, I don't even need to pull back. He gets dropped relatively quickly. Those little bug machines, those are also pretty low-level monsters, but they will stand and fight your character. Now, one thing that I like to do... You wave a newspaper at me. It's the last thing you'll ever see. Well, this is one of my least favorite characters in the game. I'm going to go ahead and skip her for now because I don't like her. Anyways, as I was saying, I usually like to go in a straight line because if things go sideways and I don't have enough energy or dust to power up all these rooms, I can at least make a focal defense point, put a couple turrets down, and then I can kind of pull all my guys back to here to defend. And one thing that's important to know is, while a hero that has not been recruited in a dark room will not stop monsters from spawning, they will fight them. So she'll have her use. And at the end of the day, I may actually recruit her, but for now, I'm not really a huge fan of her, so I don't really see a need for her at this exact juncture. This is the research screen, as I showed before. I actually don't like any of these modules. I'll go over what they do really quickly. The bioorganic transference. Each kill heals up to 100 hit points based on the killed monster, distributed to heroes in room. Kip Cannon, this is like another turret, but it'll actually do more damage based on how many science points you have stocked up. It's actually a pretty good one to have, but I usually don't like going for it right away. Auto Dock Shards gives hit point regeneration to heroes in room. Tactical HUD, plus percentage of attack power to all heroes on floor. That one's actually a pretty solid one to have, but again, I like to go for economy first, so I cycle the technologies. I see that Food Replicator 2 is on the board, so I'm probably going to put a Science Creator down the next chance I have and try and research that one. We got some more dust, we can power that room up, and what do we got for an item? We got a guard uniform. I believe Ken can wear armor. So let's go to Ken, let's throw on the guard uniform, which gives him some defense, gives him some much needed hit points. It does slow him down, but that's okay. The trade-off is well worth it. We got another research station. Now, if you've got two of these, they're actually going to share. As you can see, it's the same. They're going to share tech until you research something, and then it's going to reset for both of them. So I could research something on one of them, then go to the other one and see what the differences are, and then research new stuff if I wanted to. But I'm actually really lacking in science, as you already know. So that's not going to be a chance. And what do we got here? Expensive heal. Oh, good. Healing costs cost double the food number. And that counts for 2 more turns. Well, there's not too many unpowered rooms currently, so I should be alright. I will throw down a couple prods here just to be safe. There's another guy still skulking. Oh, it's a crystal. And he is gone. Now those guys move pretty slowly. One thing that I do is I do like to pull back a lot because the slow monsters are obviously slower than the fast monsters, so you can fight them in small groups. Okay, we want. Oops, I didn't mean to heal. And you can see that they even got through and did some damage to the crystal. Now this guy here. There's 2 versions of him. the one you see here, the slow one, he's going to bypass your heroes just like these ones, the floating crystal guys. Now there's another one that's much, much faster, and he kind of runs almost like a dog would run, and those guys go straight for heroes, and both of them do a decent amount of damage, so you got to be careful with those guys. It's always good to have some turrets down, because they'll kind of help clear them out. Make sure that he does not make it into the crystal room, and then we'll clear these dudes out, and then the crystal comes in, clear him out, and we can pull everything back. Ooh, we have enough to power up you. Excellent. And we'll keep pushing. We got some more guys coming at us, but one thing I have yet to touch base on that you've seen me do is I've been activating a couple of abilities. On the top right, when you click on your character, you'll see these little cards pop down. These are activational abilities that your characters have. Ken Masaki, my top right, has Sato Selfish, plus 50 attack power divided by heroes in room. That's why he's been kind of going in by himself a lot. He's much stronger by himself. Skiog's ability is Last Supper. It gives attack power by 26 to all heroes in room. Duration 8 seconds, cooldown 2 doors. They both have a duration of 8 and cooldown of 2. So this character is better at fighting in a group. Both are very high attack damage power characters. Is kind of how I like to play this game. And well, there's the exit, and we got enough dust to power up yet another room. So we're 11 doors into this floor, and I'm probably going to keep pressing just because it is floor 2. Probably shouldn't run into issues of dying. Although I've said that before, famous last words. But one nice thing I could do, potentially, is take the crystal and bolt if things get hairy, and just in case things do, I will go ahead and level up my characters now, and I'm going to level you up again, because now he gets the ability to create food when he kills people. Not a lot, mind you, but a little. Now you gotta be careful when you're leveling your characters up, because you know, the food is used not just for leveling, but for healing. So if you don't have any food to heal, then if you get into a tough fight, you could be out of luck in a bad way. And I don't like heading straight for the crystal like that, so you need to go. And as you can see, he depowered some rooms, and I actually don't have enough to power this room up like it was powered up before, so gotta be careful with that stuff. That's okay. I really don't imagine losing on this floor. Just gonna keep pressing on, watching, making sure there's no monsters coming my way. I'm gonna pull up here and we'll fight them. And it shouldn't be too much of a difficult fight. Haven't seen anything new yet. One thing you will notice as well when you're going through the game is the different floors do have different kind of architectural design as you're progressing through the dungeon. The idea is, you know, this is oh, pretty bad. Yep. Sorry. Is that, you know, there's different designs for the floors, because someone, you know, this is someone's home or laboratory or what have you. And so there's just different designs for the floors, because there were different purposes for it when it was a place, in order to make if that makes any sense at all. And you see, this is why, kids at home, you've got to be careful leveling your characters up. Because now, I'm in a situation that I would rather not be in. There is this idea that I have. It's not a good idea. Okay, new plan. And it's kind of a weak sauce plan, but hey, it's called not losing also, so I kind of like not losing. So this is kind of something that you don't normally do in this game. be truthfully honest. It's just kind of something that, hey, I don't really want to lose in the second floor, and I kind of did make the mistake of healing. I really thought everything was going to be alright. Things just decided not to be alright, I guess, so I really don't have a choice, I guess. And there we go. Finished that fight up, healed. And it's pretty clearly time to not be on this floor anymore because I just don't have the resources to sustain any more lengthy combat like that. We'll keep our eyes out for any potential goodie bags that might drop in this room, and nothing dropped. So, you know, just gonna make our way to the exit now. And there you have it, everybody. That's all the time I got for you today. That was a scary fight. Had to kind of really cheese it a bit, but I got through to floor 3, and we'll get through the next stage. Sorry, the next few floors. I plan to talk a lot more about the multiplayer features for this game, as there is multiplayer, and it is a lot different than playing single player. That being said, I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.